Hello viewers, welcome to a sunny Spain and the Pinarello Dogma F, a bike which I think I might have been wrong about when I reviewed it last year. I love the performance and the handling, and I don't mind the looks either, but I said it was firm and harsh on my local roads. Well, these are my local roads. This is the riding in Costa Brava, a cycling paradise, and for the last week I've been riding a bike, and I think I might be wrong. I might be unfair in my assessment of the bike. So let me share my thoughts on the bike, how it compares to my review of the bike over a year ago, and all the bikes I've been riding since then, like the Tarmac, the Air Road and the Madone, and whether my view on the bike has changed in that time, and also give you a flavour of the riding here in Costa Brava. I'm out here with Ingamba, a pro luxury holiday company. They put on amazing tours around Europe in amazing locations, just the finest level of detail you can imagine. I've had an amazing experience, and I will share my full experience of this week here with them in the Costa Brava in an upcoming video very soon. But today I want to focus on the bike. These are bikes that all the guests get to ride. It's no shabby high bike, that's for sure. It's a top level pro race bike. And in case you missed the launch of the Dogma F last year and my coverage of it, both from the launch in the Dolomites and also riding a bike on my local roads in the Cotswolds for 2 weeks, those linked down below in case you missed them. The new Dogma F, which drops a number, used to be F12, now just F. The new bike is lighter, it's stiffer and it's more aero, while retaining the signature looks of the Dogma F, and it's a very curvy affair compared to other bikes in the pro peloton right now, and still definitely stands out, and it definitely screams Pinarello Dogma F. A very unique looking bike, and a bike I think does look pretty amazing. Definitely not a boring looking bike, got some cool details, but yeah, more aero, lighter and stiffer, and the stiffness is a real key feature of the Dogma F. And despite riding it a year ago and riding other bikes like the Tarmac, the Madone, a Super 6 Evo in that time since, it's still, I think, one of the stiffest race bikes you can buy right now, and probably the stiffest race bike in terms of when you're sprinting, you're cornering, the feedback through the handlebar, that bottom bracket down tube stiffness, and also the compliance through the contact points as well. Definitely up there with the stiffest bikes you can buy. And it's still a very distinctive looking bike, and the bike I think looks really good, especially in this red and black colorway. Super curvy fork blades and a very narrow but deep head tube for maximum aerodynamics with their new now narrower handlebar. I quite like the fact we had lots of bar tape on the tops, so when you're climbing it's a nice comfy position, and that wide area spreads your palm over there for nice comfort. But the drops have a narrow profile there, so really easy to grab hold of when you're descending. Got the stem not quite slammed but lower than it came with, and that bowed top tube which you can see against the park bench here. The drop rear stage which is super curvy as well, and the asymmetric design to offset or balance out the stiffness demands of the drivetrain on one side and disc brakes on the other, and a super chunky down tube. The way it flares around the water bottle to shield airflow around that bottle, and a super chunky sort of shelf for the BB, which I'll show you when I spin the bike around in a minute. I like how the through axle end caps are smoothed over, looks really nice. Hopefully we'll see that on more bikes, and a little flap there for extra aero. And the bike, as you see it with no pedals on, it's about 6.7 6.8 kilos, so yeah, pretty good weight for this type of bike. And the bike I've been riding is spec'd with the best components: the SRAM red AXA group set Zip 303S wheels, and a nice wide Vittoria Corsa Next tyre, so 30mm wide, tubeless, running nice low pressures, and no tyres, and the low pressure definitely help give the bike a smoother ride than the one I experienced 12 months ago on my local roads. That had a 28 from Conti, so these tyres, while not a super high-end Corsa control or speed, are impressively supple and smooth riding, despite their focus on being more durable and long-lasting compared to the top end race tyres, and the extra width, the extra girth does give more comfort as well. And the reason I've changed my mind is because riding here in Spain around the Costa Brava for the past week, where the roads are silky smooth, this bike makes a lot more sense than back home on my local roads. It's still not as comfy as a tarmac SL8 or Trek-Madone SLR, or even a Canyon Air Road, when we do encounter some rough bits of tarmac and some light gravel as well. But definitely much more bearable than my experience riding back home, helped of course by the big tyres. A nice wide 13mm Vittoria Corsa next tyre. Not a super high-end tyre, but still a very good tyre for a sort of mid-range, well not mid-range, but mid to high-end tyre focused on being more durable and reliable in a range of conditions than the Corsa Control and Corsa Speed. The comfort is really good. A reasonable amount of suppleness from these tyres, given their sort of burlier construction against the racier tyres that Vittoria offers. So yeah, comfort is definitely much more in the right place riding out here on the silky smooth roads of the Costa Brava. It's still a mega stiff race bike though, definitely stiffer than a Tarmac SL8 by a lot. When you're riding out of the saddle, you really feel how stiff the bike is through the cranks. That beefy bottom bracket down tube junction really does deliver a frame that flexes no amount at all. You can feel the stiffness from the handlebars through the head tube and down to the bottom bracket, and that connection the bike has. That directness is just fantastic when you are riding full gas, giving the beans on a climb, really trying to generate some power. Just feels so efficient, and definitely feels stiffer when you are really stamping the pedals than a Tarmac or even a Trek-Madone SLR. I mean, they're all very stiff, these modern top-end race bikes, and there are small differences I'm pointing out, but when it comes to stiffness, the Dogma F is definitely in a class of its own. And if you're lucky to ride somewhere where the roads are very smooth and you don't have to worry about the stiffness overwhelming the comfort and compliance, then it's definitely a good choice. Still very much a race bike in terms of geometry and handling. My bike has quite a stack of spaces, so the actual stack height, the handlebar height is pretty comfy really. But I still have that short wheelbase and a steep head angle. And I wouldn't say it's twitchy, but definitely very immediate, very in tune with your requirements, demands when navigating through turns and bends on a nice descent. Very reactive to your inputs. I mean, this view, guys, this view is spectacular. Right along this bit of coast. It's still not a bike I personally would choose for riding back home on my local roads in the UK. Just the stiffness is too overwhelming. But if you're lucky to ride somewhere where the roads are far smoother, then I think it's a good option if you want that race bike dynamic handling. And if you don't mind the racy geometry, the very fast, lively steering, and you do fit some wide tyres. These are 30mm wide tyres, tubeless as well, and very nice low pressures for my body weight. There's a bike that does deliver all that race bike performance, but with none of the downsides I experience riding back home. And it's been interesting to ride this bike again for a good week after riding it, what, a year ago? And riding quite a few bikes in that time between, and just to revisit the bike and see if my opinion or view of the bike has changed since riding it a year ago and riding all manner of test bikes since. And I still maintain my views expressed in my review of the bike, which if you haven't seen that, link down below. That is a mega stiff bike, and it requires wide tyres and smooth roads to really ensure the stiffness doesn't overwhelm you. And goes to show that the roads you ride on has a big impact on how the bike performs and your assessment of its ride quality, compliance and comfort, and also the components on the bike too. But it is an amazing race bike. It delivers amazing race bike performance. But if you're not racing, like I don't and you probably don't, then there are better race bikes that deliver all that race bike excitement with none of the sort of comfort downsides which a Dogma does seem to have. So there we go, just an updated review on the Pinarello Dogma F after riding it for a week with Ingamba. Make sure to check out Ingamba, link down below. There's a full video on my experience of their pro luxury tours coming very soon, so make sure you are subscribed if you want to see that. But that is all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again very soon. I'll leave you with some more riding from here in the Costa Brava, a place, a destination I highly recommend, because look at that view.